Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and Civivi also is releasing another new knife in addition to their beautiful little new Baby Banter 2 with axis lock. They have this knife. It's called the Merit, and the one that I have in my hand here uses a purple micarta. I just absolutely love the color of this thing. Stainless steel liners, liner lock, kind of the traditional things, cage ceramic bearings, etc. The blade steel on this is 14C28N, which is a fine choice for a knife like this, especially with a thin blade like that. But, I had a comment in one of my knife videos recently just wondering, there are all these variations of knives, and what's the benefit of it? Why? And when I was thinking about that is, well, I look at it more as that designs are being tweaked. If you look at this, that seems like a fairly robust belly on a fairly thin handle. And this is one of my favorite Civivi knives, the Spiny Dogfish. And the Spiny Dogfish has kind of an unusual blade. And when you start leaving sort of the traditional drop point or clip point blades, you can run into some limitations. Now, this doesn't really have much in the way of a limitation because it's a fairly straightforward design. Say unlike this Civivi Thug, which I absolutely love, but it does have some design elements in the blade that keep it from doing certain tasks, but of course allow it to do other tasks extremely well. However, this is more of a traditional knife in design, but it also has, and this is what I like about these, it is a very thin profile. When you carry this, especially with that deep carry pocket clip, and just slide it down on the back corner of your front pocket of your pants, it just almost disappears. And that's what I loved about this one. You get a fairly robust blade. I mean, look at the size of the blade compared to the handle. Sometimes it's the other way around. The blade doesn't, the handle is larger than the blade, but in this case there's a lot of blade for a small handle, which means you get a svelte profile and it just almost disappears into the pocket. Very fast deployment with that kind of a flipper. You can, of course, launch it with the thumb studs if you want. And then that thin blade, just a tremendous slicer. As you can see there, compare that. The Spiny Dogfish is definitely a thicker, heavier blade. And it feels a little bit heavier, but overall, it's about street price, $52. For an excellent knife. As Project Farm discovered, Civivi is making wildly good knives for very affordable prices. I think they've dialed in the pocket clip. I have no trouble with it, whereas certain other knives, I might have to pry it out or it catches on things. But anyway, so what do we have for an overall length? About 7.6 inches. The blade length, 3.28 inches, almost 3.3 inches. The weight on this thing is only about 2.7 ounces. So you're getting a fairly large blade. If you think about that, a 3 1/3 inch blade in a 2.7 ounce knife. So, you could say it is going after some of what I call office knives, where you can easily have a fully functional knife, but in a setting that doesn't, isn't usually where you think about carrying a larger knife, but you can here. And the micarta, I mean, just look at that. Just beautiful color. It's just, there's something about micarta. Maybe it was, when I grew up or didn't grow up, but I just have this affinity towards it. A few little accoutrements there. Just adding some both texture, but not necessarily needed, but it breaks up that giant open space. Anyway, so Civivi is really working to tweak some of their designs, not necessarily come out with entirely new, unique, thug-like designs. Like, I do love that, or the Banter, or the Spiny Dogfish. These are all very unique. I love the Paleolithic look of that G10 handle, but instead, just kind of working, refining. They do call them new models, not necessarily an update of a previous one like some companies do, but instead another option, and a beautiful option at that. And with that, Doc out.